Alright, so today I'm making Copycat Jack in the Box tacos. The tacos that you get there that are like 2 for $1. That's what I'm going to be making today. So I came up with this recipe after becoming addicted to Jack in the Box tacos. And the ingredients are a pound of ground beef, and also to season the ground beef, I'm just going to use some Ortega taco sauce. Sounds a little weird to put taco sauce instead of like a packet of seasoning, but I like the little flavor it gives it. Also, I'm going to be using 4 ounces of refried beans that I'm going to be mixing into the ground beef. Sounds odd, I'll explain that in a minute. I'm also going to be using yellow corn tortillas, and then to top it I'll be using shredded lettuce and shredded cheese. Now the cheese, Jack in the Box taco cheese kind of tastes more American-y to me than cheddar. So what I do is I shred half yellow American, half yellow cheddar, and I mix them up, and that's what I end up topping them with. So I'm going to get to the ground beef mixture. So this ground beef is broken up really fine, and I wanted to do that because when you have a Jack in the Box taco, it's really smooth meat texture. It's even smoother than like a Taco Bell meat texture, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is they break it up really fine, and 2 is because they add a little bit of refried beans to the mixture. That kind of gives Jack in the Box tacos their individual flavor in the beef. I don't know if many people know that the refried beans are in there, but there's a little bit in there. So how I broke up the ground beef, and I'll try to show you. It's broken up really fine. How I did that was I cooked it on a medium-low, and to the point where you really couldn't even hear it sizzling. And I started breaking it up right away and mashing into it right away. I also used a 73-27% beef, so it was a fattier beef as well, so that helps keep it a little bit more tender. So I cooked it low and slow, broke it up, stirred it, and broke it up and kind of mashed on it the whole time. And I did that for about 10 minutes, and like I said, it didn't really even come to a simmer. Or if it did, it came to a very, very light one. So I did that for about 10 minutes until all the pink was gone, and then I turned it up just like a half a notch on the burner. I started at a 3, did that for 10 minutes, then I turned it up to a 3.5, and I cooked it and I stirred it occasionally on that once I got it to a consistency I wanted it to be. So I drained the fat out of it. I didn't let it sit and drain for a long time because I wanted to keep a little bit of the fat in it to keep it tender. So I drained the fat out of it. It's back in the pan. Also, the breaking up technique is a good technique if you want to make Copycat Taco Bell tacos. That's what I use in my Copycat Taco Bell Crunch Wrap recipe. I use that technique to break up the ground beef really fine. Alright, so now that I'm done talking about ground beef, I've got this on a medium-low. It's at about 3.5. And first I'm going to add a little bit of Ortega. That's about a tablespoon. I'm going to say about 2 tablespoons of Ortega. You could use another taco sauce if you want to use the sauce part of this recipe, but I've just only used Ortega and I like the flavor it gives it. So I'm going to mix that around. Make sure that's evenly incorporated. And then I'm going to add my 4 ounces of refried beans. And I'm just going to kind of mash these into the ground beef. And as they warm up, they'll mash in easier. And this, I love this flavor. It just, when I first tried these, I was like, man, this meat is really smooth, and like it tastes like it's got refried beans in it, or beans or something in it. And the person I was with was like, no, no. And then I looked it up and it was like, I guess they do use refried beans in there. So I think the combination of refried beans and a finely ground, little fattier ground beef, plus a little bit of Ortega taco sauce makes a really good combination. And a pretty comparable flavor for this recipe. Also, another thing you could do is go to Jack in the Box, and when you're there, steal a bunch of their taco packets and use that taco that taco sauce. Done that before too. Okay. So this is almost all the way ground up, and this is gonna go. I'm just gonna let this go on medium-low for about 5 minutes to make sure all the flavors melted together. And then it should be ready to go. But this, it's hard to tell, but this is the consistency. It's very soft. The refried beans have worked their way into it. So I'm going to keep this going. Next step is I've got a pan that is just barely covered with vegetable oil, and I'm going to bring that up to a medium-high temperature. And what I'm going to do is warm up the corn tortillas. Once this is done, I'm going to put some meat mixture in there, fold them up, and then I'm going to place them and fry them in this vegetable oil for about a minute on each side to make them hard shell tacos. So I'm going to let this go, and then I will show you guys that step in the next part of the video. Alrighty, so I put my meat into the corn tortillas like this and just folded them over. I microwave the corn tortillas for about 20 seconds before doing this, just so when you fold them over they don't break. And I've got my oil up to temperature. I'll have to put that there. I'm going to put a couple of these in, and I'm just going to fry them for probably no more than a minute on each side to get them crunchy. Ooh. When the oil touches the beef a little bit, it'll spit up. Yeah, I probably put a little too much oil in the pan. You want it to just barely cover the entirety of the pan. But it'll be alright. We'll live. Maybe. Okay. Turn them over. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And those are going to go for another minute. I'm going to do one more. And then I'm going to load them up with the shredded lettuce and the cheese. And when you open them up, you want to be gentle when you open them up so they don't break. So just kind of slightly open them up, put the cheese and the lettuce in as best you can. And then once these are done and I dress them, I will show you what they look like and tell you how they turned out. Alright, so I just tried the Jack in the Box taco. Like I said, these are the 2 for $1 tacos, so they're not supposed to look anything fancy, but this is what they look like. And they got really good flavor. That 2 tablespoons of Ortega adds some really good flavor to the beef bean mixture. The shells are nice and crunchy, but still kind of soft and easy to open on the inside, like the Jack in the Box tacos are. I still kind of stand by my theory that they use possibly yellow American cheese as their topping. Um, but I mixed it with cheddar and yellow cheese, and it tastes great. And got the shredded lettuce in there, and yeah, they're really good. Um, Topping them with some more Ortega is pretty good. Like the Ortega, in my opinion, I guess it's the closest I've found to the Jack in the Box taco sauce. I know there's really nothing else like it. I don't know if they sell it by the bottle or anything like that. But I mean, I guess, you could always go to a Jack in the Box and jack some taco sauce if you really, really wanted to. But I like the Ortega in replacement, and the texture of the shells are good. It turned out really well. When you open them to put your toppings in, just be gentle with them, and they shouldn't break at all. They turn out great, and especially that meat mixture and the breaking it down really fine, and that Ortega, man, that's good shit. Alright, well, I'm done. Anyway, these are pretty good, pretty comparable to the type of texture and flavor that you're looking for from a Jack in the Box style taco. So if you found this interesting and you give them a try, hope you enjoy them. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So if you're wanting to try a recipe like this, I would suggest this one. It's a pretty good one.